Hey Toyota, can I get an EV?
Toyota says no.
Many hours later.
Hey Toyota, can I get an EV?
We have a Prius.
Prius?
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Okay, Prius was good, but I want an EV.
We have a new Prius.
New Prius?
A few minutes later.
Hey Toyota, can I get an EV please? Everyone has one. Kia, Volkswagen, Hyundai. I want one now. Now!
How about
Now, EVs are relatively new tech. They're scary, you don't know much about them, but what if you could take that EV-ness and pair it with a reliable brand that's been known for quality and reliability for a very long time? This is Toyota's very first EV, the BZ4X. Now watch to find out why, even though you can't buy it, it tells us a lot about what you should know about the future of Toyota's EVs. Buy or sell your car now with CarBuyer Singapore. And remember to check out the latest automotive content with us. First of all, what is the BZ4X? It's Toyota's very first globally made and sold EV. Now, Toyota's made EVs before, but they've been really half-assed. Like I think there was a RAV4 EV way in the past, but the BZ4X represents Toyota's first real effort at making a proper EV, and it certainly looks like it because it looks like every other EV on the market. Oh, it's a crossover, it's an SUV, it's got a nice plunging roofline, it's got high-mounted lights. No light bar yet, but it may as well have one. It does have one at the back, in fact. So the BZ4X is very much an EV in the modern mold. And the cool thing is it does look very much like a lot of the other Toyotas on the market. Maybe not at the front end, but if you look at the back, it looks just like the Yaris Cross and the Harrier hybrids, which we reviewed very recently on CarBuyer Singapore. But the thing is, Toyota is on the back foot when it comes to the EV game. This car was only announced last year, and it's the first Toyota EV, but you can't buy it yet because for some strange reason in Singapore, it's only for lease. We have the full story on that. You can check it out on CarBuyer Singapore. But the point is, even if you can't buy this car, it is a great window into how Toyota is making EVs finally. And when we drive it and show you what it's like inside, we can expect that the future of Toyota's EVs will be very much like this. Now, keep in mind that this is all speculative and it's our educated guess from a car expert point of view. So when we say the future of Toyota, what exactly do we mean? Now, this car was announced globally last year, 2021, and after that, Toyota also made clear its billion-dollar investment, multi-billion-dollar investment in EVs. So the Japanese giant finally went from going, maybe not about EVs to going all in EVs. So the BZ range, now the BZ, petrol pump, BZ, BZ stands for Beyond, which actually means one, right? Like Beyond Zero is one, yeah. The Toyota 4X. Doesn't sound as cool as BZ, but okay, enough bullshit. BZ, it refers to, I think, Toyota's EV specific range, and I think it will be also the sort of the premium EV offering for Toyota. So it says it will launch 7 of these cars. The compact version was just announced as well very recently. You can read about that on CarBuyer as well. And furthermore, non-BZ EVs from Toyota, there will be 15 of them in 2020 by 2025. So that really shows that Toyota is going, yes, we're going to make EVs finally, and you can actually buy one, but you still can't buy this car because you can only lease it if you live in the eco town of Tengah. In future, we have the full story on that. If you ever want to try this car, yeah, you go to Tengah, very far, but yeah, that's it. So what you have to keep in mind when we look at this car is the fact that it runs on the dedicated EV platform ETNGA, which is Toyota Electric Toyota New Generation Architecture, and that obviously will underpin or if not many of Toyota's future EVs. And of course, the battery pack made the battery pack and the electric motor made in conjunction with Panasonic and CATL as well. And you can see here, this is really the first proper Toyota EV we get to try. And from here we will see how Toyota does its EVs, what kind of approach it's going to take, and when you buy a Toyota EV, this is what you can expect in future. Now you look at the cockpit of the BZ4X and you immediately notice that something is different and weird, but in a good way. So first of all, let's take the steering wheel. Now the steering wheel is really small. It's only like this, and normal car steering wheels to the luxury ones especially more like that, but it's really small and quite cool. And this unique button layout is I haven't seen it on any other Toyota to date, only on the BZ4X. Draw your attention to the driver's display. I have no idea how big it is, but it's very legible, very clear. We have our typical Toyota font and layout for everything, so all you got is right there. We've got Toyota safety system as well, blind spot monitoring, we've got active cruise control, so everything you expect from a modern high-tech EV. And what I like about this, besides the cool design, I don't know what this part is for, but I don't know, maybe you can... Yeah, I'm going too fast! The screen is right up near the windscreen, so you don't need a HUD, and your eyesight and your eye line is always very, very close to the road, which I really like again. So lots of safety, nicely ergonomic design. You can adjust the wheel, so if you like to have it near you, no problem, you can still see everything. So that avoids one problem I have with some cars, where the wheel gets in the way of seeing where I'm signaling, for example. So that's a nice touch design-wise for the driver that I think Toyota has done really well here. So the center of the cabin, we have a 12.3 inch, or what I presume is a 12.3 inch display. Very, very similar to what we've seen in the Lexus NX and the new Lexus RX. In terms of features, there is jack all, because this is not for sale. Yeah, but you can link up Android Auto and Apple CarPlay to this thing. I tried streaming Bluetooth, it just refused to work, so one of those niggling little things. On a side note, the launch and the rollout of the BZ4X has not exactly been perfect for Toyota. Now it has recalls for wonky wheels and amongst other things, so we can see that this is very much Toyota's first try at a proper EV. But so far so good. All those things are pretty minor. I've driven it quite a big distance and the wheels haven't fallen off yet, so... But there are a few things that are very much Toyota/Lexus-y. We have the surround view camera, quite useful when you're parking, although it does sometimes look a bit weird, but this is really interesting. This shows you kind of an invisible view of around the car. So that's quite a good addition to a car, and like many other EVs, this car has a very, very wide windscreen for aerodynamics, and a very high kind of rise of the cabin. So it's not the easiest car to look out of or park, but this makes your life a little bit easier. Down here we've got aircon seats, again very Lexus-y. So this car is obviously premiumly positioned. Wouldn't say it's a luxury car, but it's premiumly positioned, so it feels obviously more well built than something like, say, a Sienta. And it's got auto parking as well. Seatbelt is unfastened. I'm a bad boy. And eco mode, a charging bay down here, and another thing, just like a lot of EVs, plenty of space to put your stuff. Cup holders here, a really deep glove box here, another under tunnel storage area down here with more USB ports. So very typical of EVs that we've seen. But how does it drive? Okay, so it's got big wheels, it goes over bumps, a little bit bumpy, but it's a little bit heavy. It handles like it's stuck to the ground at normal speeds. You push it and it starts to be not so stuck to the ground, a bit vague at the front. Generally very, very quiet and very refined. Have you heard me say this before? Yes, you have. You probably heard me say that in the Polestar 2. You've heard me say that in the Kia EV6. You've heard me say that in almost every other EV I've driven. That's because EVs all pretty much drive the same way. There is no weird sound. There is no sport mode. There is one pedal driving, quite easy to get used to. But very, very typical EV driving experience here. Nothing to really write home about. It's very quiet, it's very refined. You know, yeah, you watch my EV6 review and it's pretty much, Kia EV6 review is pretty much exactly the same experience there. But of course it's not exactly the same. You know, the Toyota-ness of it does shine through. Also in the driving experience. It's not really a sporty car. It can be driven quickly, but it doesn't really like to do that. I would say the EV6 has the edge in terms of handling. something like a Tesla as well. This car's center of gravity feels a little bit higher, it's a little bit tippier than the EV6 and maybe the Tesla Model 3, not so much the Tesla Model Y. So although on paper this car only has 170 horsepower and 300 plus Newton meters of torque, which isn't that much for an EV, it's still pretty quick, 0 to 100 in 8.6 seconds. So it's actually, it feels quicker than it is in real life. Typical Toyota, again, you know, they'll give you one figure, but in real life, it doesn't really feel that slow. So what you guys really want to know is how far it will go. So this car only comes with a 71.4 kilowatt hour battery pack. Our trip in Singapore, we did more than 170 kilometers. We got, what did we get? We got 17.8 kilowatt hours per 100, which is pretty good. So 17.8, not quite as efficient as the Kia EV6, but a little bit less efficient too. With this battery pack means you'll get about 400 kilometers. If you do the eco mode thing, you drive like a granny, probably further than that. So no range anxiety, I feel. And I think Toyota's electronic drive tech is already quite mature, even though this is the first proper Toyota EV. 400 kilometers-ish from a single charge, not bad. Okay, we've talked about range, we've talked about driving. Now let's talk about charging. Very standard 150 kilowatt DC fast charge, the maximum rate of this car. So 10 to 80 in the very industry standard half an hour. So far, so standard, so EV. Living with Toyota is a standard living. Standard living. Make of that what you will. And another thing I didn't quite like about the driving experience was the suspension seemed to get a little bit of how do you say, the wonky, junky. Okay, no one knows what that means. When you go over the bumps, it does tend to degenerate into crashiness quite easily, more so than the other cars. And I would prefer a little bit more front end feel. Sometimes when you're going faster on the highway, it doesn't feel so nice to drive. A little bit more incisiveness on the front end would be appreciated there. And also some of the cabin plastics are quite harsh. Now, I should probably contextualize this by saying, you know, when Toyota previewed this car earlier this year, someone told me that this car would cost at least $250,000 in Singapore money to buy right now. And obviously that was a few months ago, so now it would probably be at least 280 or more. But for that kind of price, I think the quality has to be a bit better. So I think we can see why Toyota might not want to sell this car in Singapore just yet, because, you know, it is in many ways there, but in some ways it's not quite there yet. Okay, so just let me stretch out a bit, show you guys the excellent legroom of the BZ4X. Again, the wheelbase 2850mm. Only 50 mm off the Kia EV6. I don't think that is a, what's that word? Coincidence. Yeah, that's right. It's not a coincidence. Okay, so yeah, I think you just have to go and watch my Kia EV6 review. A lot of information there. Again, we compare it to the Tesla Model Y and the Polestar 2. All those cars cost $250,000-ish or more. And if the BZ4X was sold here, they would be direct competitors to that car. And I think on paper, the BZ4X might lack a bit. It's front wheel drive, number one, although that's not really a problem unless you really like driving. The range is okay. I think the amount of tech on the inside is slightly a bit less. Like the EV6's big deal is that it's the fastest charging car in Singapore, whereas even in normal charging, this car isn't quite as fast. So competitors, competition-wise, the BZ4X is there, but I think when people want to buy a Toyota, and I've seen this in petrol Toyotas as well, even if they're not blow for blow the best cars on paper, they are still very effective cars and people love them for certain reasons. Now, one of the reasons is, of course, Toyota's vaunted reliability and its brand image, you know, its reputation for building cars that just go and go. Now, obviously, we can't drive this car for 10 years. We don't know how it's going to behave. But here is a very important claim that Toyota made when they announced the BZ4X. Now, this is from our story on CarBuyer Singapore. So I quote, Toyota is producing EVs with a view to helping owners preserve their resale value. Ta-da! One very important factor for buying Toyota in Singapore especially. The company claims the BZ4X will retain 90% of its original battery performance after 10 years or 240,000 kilometers. Very impressive. So while some car companies here selling EVs offer 8-year warranties for the batteries. This is not a warranty, but it's a claim that this car, as an EV, has been engineered with the same approach that Toyota has brought to its ICE cars. Whether or not you believe in that is up to you. We don't think Toyota will bungle that up so badly, and you know, their years and years of experience doing hybrid cars has taught them a lot about battery management and longevity. So I, for one, I'm inclined to take that claim at face value. So that was our review of the Toyota BZ4X with lasers on the head, of the Toyota that you can't buy in Singapore, but is Toyota's first EV, a very, very important car for the company, and it gives us a deep insight into how the car is going to make its future EVs. If you like this review, please like it, please subscribe to CarBuyer Singapore and support us so we can continue to do more of this nonsense and behave like Macho Man Randy Savage.